Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the NoDQ.com live recap of Friday Night Smackdown. Yeah, for July 14th, 2023. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. Much appreciation and support to all of you. Let's go ahead and get into this recap. We opened up the show with a promo because it's SmackDown. 9 times out of 10, you open the show with a promo. If it's AEW, 9 times out of 10, you open with a match. That's just the nature of these programs. Bianca came to the ring to hype up her main event. She said, "It's hard to be patient. She's been waiting what seems like forever to get her rematch for the Women's Championship." She said, "Vengeance will be so sweet." But then, guess what happened? Take a wild guess. It's SmackDown. It's a WWE show. Well, you know what happens on a WWE show when somebody comes out there and cuts a promo? They get interrupted. Of course. Charlotte interrupted, and she praised Bianca. She thinks that Bianca was going to win the title in Flair country. But then Charlotte said that she will be next in line. Bianca proposed SummerSlam. They could fight for the title, and Charlotte agreed. They shook hands, and that was our opening segment to set up the main event of the show. It was fine, but very standard. You know how these things go. We had our first match of the evening, tag team match, Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus Pretty Deadly. Sheamus and Ridge looking for a little bit of revenge after Sheamus got, I guess, screwed out of the United States Championship on last week's SmackDown at Madison Square Garden. Now, the Brutes had the early momentum. Ridge was showing off his strength, picking up both Pretty Deadly members and dropping them. Sheamus did the beats. He did like 20 plus of them. He kept going as we went to commercial. When we came back, Pretty Deadly took control of the match for a while. And it was standard here. Ridge tagged in, hot tag. They worked over Sheamus for a while. Ridge used his power. He suplexed Prince into Wilson. And then Wilson exposed the steel from the turnbuckle in the corner. And then Ridge ended up going throat first into the exposed steel. And Prince picked up the win with the top rope leg drop. Pretty Deadly's momentum continues, picking up a big win over the Brawling Brutes. I guess Pretty Deadly's growing on me a little bit. I'm still not a fan of the attire, but they're making fun of it. They're playing up on it. So I do like the music, and yeah, I think they are slowly starting to grow on me a little bit. That's kind of crazy to say, but you know what? That's what happens when you actually push people. What do you know? They start to get over. We had a Grayson Waller backstage promo, and he talked about main eventing Madison Square Garden against Edge, and he said he would have won if he had more than 15 minutes to prepare. He also made a reference to The Rock. Now, The Rock replied to Grayson Waller on Twitter. If you missed it, you can check out NoDQ.com for the details on what that was all about. But The Rock had mentioned Grayson Waller, and now Waller said that if The Rock wants a piece of him, he knows where to find him. Grayson also used The Rock's line, "If you smell what I'm cooking." I would be shocked if The Rock actually showed up on WWE television and did a segment with Grayson Waller. But several people have noted that, well, there is a strike going on in Hollywood right now. Could The Rock actually have a little bit of free time to show up and give Austin, I almost said, Yeah, almost said Austin Theory. Grayson Waller, because people are making the comparisons between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. But maybe The Rock shows up at SummerSlam. I mean, maybe this is wishful thinking on my part, but perhaps The Rock has a little bit of extra time because of the actors going on strike and everything going on in Hollywood. Maybe The Rock shows up and makes a one-off appearance and gives Grayson Waller the rock bottom. Like, it's weird to me that The Rock would actually respond to Grayson Waller and Waller to actually mention it on TV. I found to be very interesting. Like, if Rock was not appearing, why even mention the tweet in the first place? Like, why bother? We'll see. I'll be surprised. I'm still not counting on it happening, but you never know. Never say never, right? Walter says he can't work because of the strike. Well, I mean, he's got to put food on the table. I mean, it's The Rock, so I mean, that's a joke, but yeah, I don't know if there's necessarily something that would prevent him from showing up as a one-off special appearance. And Hamp sent in a $5 super chat. He said answer later, so I will answer it later, Hamp. And don't worry, it is starred thanks to StreamYard. They star the super chats. I will not miss it. Thank you for that. And we'll get to that in just a few minutes here. We had a Bloodline video package recapping all the stuff. Oh, and I forgot to mention, speaking of the Bloodline and The Rock, Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Grayson Waller even mentioned Rock's family. That's true. He brought up how Rock is seeing his family fall apart. Talking about the Bloodline, of course. It'll be interesting to see if The Rock actually shows up or not, but it would make for a fun little moment. But then people would be like, well, wait a minute, is The Rock going to do something with Roman Reigns? So I'm not expecting it to happen personally, but never say never. We had Charlotte backstage telling Adam Pearce she's leaving the building. She's confident that Bianca will win. The SummerSlam match will be intact. But then Bayley and Io Sky showed up, and Bayley teased the idea that Io might cash in. So Charlotte changed her mind and decided to stay. You know what? I think pretty much everybody could see where this was going. This whole segment, like, painfully obvious that you're going to have shenanigans in the main event. I mean, come on now. This is a bit ridiculous. We had Bayley versus Zelina Vega, and we had footage shown of Shotzi's hair being cut. Pretty basic match here. Zelina did get in some offense. Bayley went right after Zelina. Zelina did fight back, came off the top of the Meteora. Bayley kicked out of that, and Bayley grabbed Zelina's shoe. I'm not sure why that's still a thing, but Bayley grabbed the shoe. Zelina took it, hit Bayley with it. Referee got the shoe, and with the referee distracted, Bayley raked the eyes of Zelina and then picked up the win with the rose plant. So yeah, like I said a week or two ago, Zelina's push is over. People were thinking maybe she would win Money in the Bank, but she had her shot, she had her moment, and that's pretty much it. Now, after the match was over, we had an interruption. The celebration, the victory celebration, was interrupted. We had Shotzi basically going crazy, but saying that she is in control. She decided, you know what, go big or go home here. She shaved her head, the rest of her hair off, and asked if she looked scared to Bayley. I liked this. I liked it because it gives a new layer to Shotzi's character in the storyline, and also in real life. Shotzi's sister is battling cancer, and this is a way to pay tribute to her. I like it. I think it's a good idea. I think Shotzi definitely needed something like this character-wise, just to give her a makeover. Like, she was kind of going nowhere for the longest time, and when something is not working, you got to change it up a little bit. So I was definitely a fan of this Shotzi video package. She needs this for sure. Dave says, "Where's Aaron?" I'm here. You talking about another Aaron? Hamp Connell sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Hamp. Says, "Do you think the writer's strike will affect WWE?" No. WWE's basically in their own entity. I don't think it's really going to have any negative impact. The potential impact, if any, could be positive, because if this strike goes on for a long time, WWE is still running, AEW is still running, and, people are going to want their entertainment. If anything, this is good for WWE and AEW. But we'll see how long the strike lasts. Who knows what's going on with that. Thank you for the super chat, Hamp. And we had an update, by the way, on Jey Uso. He has a ruptured rib cartilage, whatever injury they made up for him, and he'll be out of action indefinitely. Jey Uso came to the ring for a promo, and they were in Raleigh, North Carolina. The crowd was doing the what chants for whatever reason. Why would you chant what for the hottest storyline in wrestling right now? I don't know. But Jey worked with it, and when he was talking, he played off the crowd doing the what chants, and good job by Jey Uso. He did not get thrown off by it. He just stayed on point, and that's a testament to his mic skills. He talked about him and Jimmy being twins, and he's not happy, of course, with Roman Reigns. He's going to spank Solo like he did last week. He talked about Paul Heyman puppeteering his family for 40 years. Jey said that he is the new head of the table. This led to Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa interrupting. And I guess next week on SmackDown, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso will have a face-to-face to discuss the rules of engagement. I guess whatever the stipulation is going to be for their SummerSlam match. And then Heyman laid the guilt trip, said that what happened to Jimmy is Jey's fault. And Jimmy, how can he forgive Jey, according to Heyman? Heyman said that Jey's father, Rikishi, will not forgive him. Jey's mother will not forgive him. Heyman, Reigns, none of them will forgive him. And Solo even took the mic and said that he will not forgive Jey Uso for what happened to Jimmy. Jey attacked Solo. They fought. And Jey turned his attention to Paul Heyman. Solo attacked him from behind. But Jey fought back and ended up giving Paul Heyman a super kick. Huge pop for this. Crowd was chanting Uso, and he grabbed the steel chair. Solo ended up taking the chair shot for Heyman, and both of them managed to escape the ring, setting up next week's confrontation between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Roman Reigns returns next week. He's always returning. Really good segment here as usual. I mean, these guys never miss, and this was no exception. Fantastic stuff here. Like I said, Jey, total pro, handling the what chants. Heyman, awesome as usual. Solo did his part. Everybody did very well here. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, if Vince was in charge, Jimmy would turn heel on Jey. Are you talking about Vince McMahon or Vince Russo? If you're talking about Russo, then yeah, you're probably right. There would be a heel turn. I mean, if Vince Russo was writing, this storyline would not have gone to the point it's at. I mean, he would have done swerve after swerve, and people would have stopped caring about it, and that would have been it. Building Nexus sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Says, the strike could be their chance to bring The Rock back and have him try to fix his family. Well, again, I don't see The Rock coming back as a full-time deal by any means. Like, if he shows up, it's going to be like a one-off. Let's be real here, especially at SummerSlam. Like, if The Rock's going to do like any kind of extended program, he's coming back for Roman Reigns. And I don't anticipate this strike going on for that long. If The Rock's showing up to do something other than Roman Reigns, it's a one-off. And then if he does show up for Roman Reigns, it'll be WrestleMania. Only WrestleMania. I don't see The Rock doing anything else other than WrestleMania versus Roman Reigns and maybe making an occasional appearance every now and then. But I still don't expect it to happen. All right, moving on here. We had Austin Theory at ringside for a four-way match. 2 four-way matches. One was this week. Then there'll be another one next week. By the way, SmackDown next week will be on FS1 instead of Fox. Make sure you guys take note of that. WWE did mention that several times during the broadcast. The numbers always drop for that FS1 version, but it will be on that. And surprisingly, I mean, they must not really care about the actual TV viewership numbers because they know if people don't watch it on FS1, they'll catch it on YouTube or whatever, because they're putting Roman Reigns on the FS1 show. You would think, like, if they were really concerned about the viewership being down, that they would just do a throwaway show. But no, they're putting Roman Reigns on the show next week, and they're going to have a big segment. Anyways, Grayson Waller versus Butch versus Santos Escobar versus AJ Styles. Theory was at ringside, bragged about beating John Cena on commentary. Not much else he said. Really good match here with these guys for a TV match. Everybody got to shine, and they did the four-way Tower of Doom spot, which was actually a little bit different than normal because Styles and Butch were going to superplex. They were going to superplex Grayson Waller, but Santos ended up turning it into a sunset flip power bomb, taking everybody down. Crowd chanted, "This is awesome," because that the Tower of Doom is pretty much a guarantee to get a "This is awesome" chant. Like the live crowd will never not pop for the Tower of Doom spot. And Styles was on the verge of winning. Phenomenal forearm. Went for the Styles Clash on Butch, but then we cut to the back where the OC had been attacked by Karrion Kross. This feud is still going on. Why, I don't know. AJ already squashed him, but Kross said, "We're not done yet." Basically, what Braun Strowman would say, "I'm not finished with you." Except Braun Strowman actually did some cool-ass shit to Roman Reigns, and Karrion Kross just keeps losing. Escobar took advantage of AJ being distracted by all this, and Escobar ended up pinning Grayson Waller. Interesting. I'm a little surprised Waller took the fall here and not Butch. But very good match here, and Santos winning is interesting. Next week, we have another four-way. Rey Mysterio's in it, so he could end up winning it and facing Santos because the winners of the two four-way matches will go on in 2 weeks to determine Austin Theory's opponent for what I presume is a SummerSlam title defense. I'm a little surprised Santos won and Grayson took the fall. And another participant in this second four-way match is LA Knight. He came to the stage. We got promos from everybody. The other participants, Sheamus is in the match, Rey Mysterio. But LA Knight actually came out in front of the fans. He got the special treatment. And the crowd is just crazy into LA Knight. Like it's something. And He said that Theory's title reign is in trouble because he's coming for the title. He got the crowd saying, yeah, after everything he said. And he said they can call him the megastar, they can call him the GOAT, but soon they will be calling him champion. I mean, LA Knight's great, but LA Knight versus Santos Escobar, that's why I'm a little concerned. Like if Butch, well, not even Butch is a babyface. If Grayson Waller won, then I could see LA Knight winning, and then they do that match and LA Knight wins. But with Santos winning, now I'm not so sure. Although the thing is, LA Knight's basically a babyface now. They turned him last week officially, I think, when he beat up Hit Row. Even though it did not air on television, WWE uploaded it to social media, so most fans have seen it. They saw that clip from MSG. He's a babyface now. And I think LA Knight versus Theory is the match to do for the pay-per-view. Are they going to do it? I'll believe it when I see it. Like I'm still feeling like they're going to screw with people. I just remember Zack Ryder and how much of a backing Ryder had. He had this huge following, and WWE like reluctantly put him on TV and gave him TV time. And part of me is not convinced that this is any different, because we've seen it before where a guy that gets over on his own ends up getting buried in the end. So I'm nervous for LA Knight. Like, the guy is clearly over like hell, and you would think in any rational scenario you would push this guy to the moon and make him an upper card guy. And I do agree with you, Jerry, on this. I mean, Zack Ryder was entertaining, and he made the most of where he was at in WWE and did everything he could to be elevated. LA Knight is, like, charisma-wise above anybody pretty much in the company, like with a few exceptions. I mean, arguably at the top. And, you know, Rusev Day, like, that got squashed, but I mentioned this on the No DQ review. I give a lot of the credit to Aiden English for that. Like, he got Rusev Day over, like the singing and everything. He was entertaining, and they were a great package deal. Like, they were a fun tag team. So, you know, I think Aiden English definitely deserves a good amount of credit for the Rusev Day shtick getting over. LA Knight is just a fantastic promo, tremendous charisma. And yeah, I think the biggest thing working against him is his age. You know, he's 40 years old, but Bobby Lashley won the WWE title like at 44, 45 years old. Anyways, we'll see what happens. That is next week. And speaking of Bobby Lashley is back. Bobby Lashley returned. He arrived outside to meet with the Street Profits and invited them into his limousine. Now, are they going to reform the Hurt Business? Are they going to create a new faction? There were the rumors of the Street Profits going heel. Lashley's in a weird spot because as a babyface, it's hard for him to be a top guy when Roman Reigns is busy with the Bloodline. And Lashley versus Austin Theory, we've already seen it. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat, says, stupid baby face with AJ Styles. Your friend was already choked out. Styles clash your opponent, pin them, and then run to the back to help out. It made AJ Styles look dumb, and he's a veteran. What the hell? Well, he's an emotional guy. AJ loves his friends, and I guess maybe he was worried that Karrion Kross might just kill the guy, and choking him out was just the beginning of what was going to happen. He was going to permanently injure Carl Anderson, something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to give you some kind of logic for this. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Says, Vince is mad that LA Knight is more over than Theory. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would say Grayson Waller's more over than Theory. Theory just really lacks charisma, in my opinion. I think Grayson Waller has what Austin Theory is lacking. And LA Knight, again, not the young, chiseled athlete. I mean, the guy is still in tremendous shape, but not the young athlete that can be the future of the company for 2 decades. But LA Knight, like if you put him in the main events now, you can get a good 5-6 years out of this guy as a headliner. I mean, it's not 20, but you still got some stuff you can do with this guy if you put the foot on the gas now. And yeah, I mean, you would think that LA Knight would be a Vince guy from the get-go. Like, the guy is in great shape, good-looking guy. All of his commercials and TV appearances have been going viral on social media this week. Like, the guy, he's got everything going for him. The only thing, I think, is the age that is working against him, and maybe that's why they're hesitant on giving him a big push. We had our main event of the evening, Asuka versus Bianca Belair, and this went exactly as you would expect. So Bayley and Io come out there with their ringside ticket. It's so lame. And then Charlotte shows up, other side of the ring. Like, I didn't even care about the match. I mean, it's a neon sign that says this match is going to end with shenanigans. So why even bother caring about anything that's happening in the match? Because it's not going to end until all the hell breaks loose. Anyways, they fought for a while. It was a standard length of a TV match, and they fought on the outside of the ring. Bianca hit the KOD on the table, but then Bayley and Io, of course, jumped the barricade. Charlotte did the same thing. She had a big boot to Bayley, and Bianca was upset that Charlotte was getting involved, but Charlotte said she was trying to help Bianca. Io then sent Charlotte into the ring post and turned her attention to Bianca. Charlotte went for a spear, but accidentally hit Bianca, and that led to the referee calling for the bell. Disqualification. And then Io Sky hit Charlotte with the briefcase and teased cashing in Money in the Bank. But then Asuka spit mist in the face of Bayley and escaped the ring. And that was that. So yeah, we're getting the 3-way. Charlotte, Bianca, both challenging Asuka. Very obvious where this is going. So yeah, it was what it was. I mean, I was expecting this, and it's exactly what we got. And Hamp sent in a $5 super chat. This was what I mentioned earlier. He said to ask later. He says, why does Charlotte have to buy a ticket when she just sits in the ring an hour and a half ago? Couldn't she have just gotten on commentary? It makes no sense. It's dumb. And I just roll my eyes at this stuff. Like that's really the best they can come up with to build up a match here. And Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, do you think Theory is just a modern day Lex Luger? I would say that's a decent comparison. The jury is still out on Theory. He's young, and I do see some similarities between him and Luger in the late 80s. I think Theory probably is a bigger wrestling fan than Lex Luger. I don't think Luger was a big fan when he broke into wrestling, but Theory definitely seems like he is a big fan. And I think Theory is probably more athletically gifted than Lex Luger. Body-wise, I mean, Lex Luger was, top 1%. And Theory is up there too. I mean, Theory's got a great physique. But yeah, I think the jury is still out. And, Lex Luger was a pretty big star. And in that sense, Theory has a ways to go. I think, because Luger was a multi-time world champion. He beat Hulk Hogan for the championship. I mean, not many people can say that. So Theory's got a ways to go. If Theory can beat a top-tier guy and win the world title and have a decent reign, I mean, Luger's reign when he beat Hogan was 6 days, but whatever, 5 days, whatever it was, because I think Road Wild was on a Saturday, if I recall. He could surpass Luger, but yeah, I do see the similarities. Anyways, show was pretty decent. I'm going B-. I mean, it was a lot of setup for next week and, skippable show at times, but the Uso segment was great. And the four-way was really entertaining. So if you're going to watch anything from this show, definitely check those two segments out. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Much appreciated. Says, since you were going to end the women's championship match in this bullshit way, then the four-way should have been the main event and the women's match before. I agree with you, man, but they're trying to build up the women's world title as, an actual world title. And I guess in that sense, it should be the main event. And look, the women should definitely get their share of the main event segments, but I just wish they had a little bit more of a creative way to end the show rather than do the standard people showing up at the end, DQ stuff, basically what they do on a regular basis. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. He says, answer at the end. Doesn't The Rock own the XFL? I could see him getting busy with running the XFL during the actor strike to create content for TV networks. Yeah, The Rock has the XFL, and that's one of many reasons why I think The Rock hasn't appeared on WWE television. He's just a very busy man, and despite the writer's strike, I think he's going to be busy. So yeah, he's got to deal with a number of things. He's got so many different projects that he's working on. The question is, does he have time to make a SummerSlam appearance? I would not bet money on it personally. Anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Much love and appreciation to everybody out there, as I mentioned at the beginning. Thank you all so much. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. Say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.